diorama, welcome aboard.
Hi gentle people, good afternoon. While the epoxy resin of our previous project is drying, let's already check the content of the incoming challenge. I will bring you in the golden age of polar expedition, a very exciting subject full of mystery, danger, and so of creative opportunities. I plan to tackle this Takom tracked vehicle at scale 1/35. I still need to study a bit the staging of this tiny vehicle, but it will be linked to the French polar expedition most probably. Let's first check what Takom proposes in his box and some aftermarket options. Okay, let's first open this box and check what's inside. We have 7 plastic sprues with different pieces and this little chassis. Of course, the instruction manual, a bit of transparent pieces, and a few photo-etched parts. The M29 Weasel is a quite small vehicle. As you can see, here is the main central parts of the chassis. And as you can see, the sculpted details are absolutely excellent. You can find on this first sprue 13 pieces, which includes the side skirts and some elements that will cover the frontal part of the vehicle. The anchor points are really tiny, but should be sufficient to position the pieces with precision. Now, with regard to the ejection pin marks, they are quite discreet and it seems they are only located on the non-visible part of the assembly. On this second sprue, you can see the crew protection cabin. Initially, the M29 Weasels didn't have any cabin. It was an open vehicle just to transport troops during the Second World War. Obviously, in the Arctic or Antarctic region, it was necessary to protect the crew from snow and cold environment. Now, the cabin provided in the kit seems to be different than the one used by the French scientists, but we will see how to adapt it later. This third sprue comes with different seats, 4 seats for 4 crew members. And as you can see, we have already a kind of texture. We have also some little tools and accessories. Here is a close-up shot of the seats and also the engine radiator. So you see the different details are very nicely sculpted. This little fourth sprue includes a few panels with hatches, some tools, we have mooring hooks nicely sculpted, and something that looks like an antenna mast. We have also the 2 navigation rudders, as it was an amphibious vehicle. Now, I think that on the French vehicles, some of them had these rudders removed. So that's to be checked. This 5th sprue contains different panels to create the different interior sections. It was obviously a rudimentary vehicle, so do not expect complex avionic bays and dashboards. Here comes the instrument panel with only a few dials and big knobs. Nothing fancy here. As you can see, the sculpted details are really good, really thin. This kit might be really small, but it's very nicely finished. And these last 2 sprues also confirm that there is quite significant work ahead. With 64 wheels to cut, sand and assemble, and given their size, this promises some moments of great frustration. You can also find on these 2 sprues the different track elements. As you can see, very nicely sculpted. The details are absolutely perfect. The tracks come with rigid elements without any movable or functional track links. The suspension also includes some tiny pieces, so it will ask a little bit of work without any doubt. The kit also includes 1 sprue of transparent pieces. What's nice is that the windshield wipers are provided in photo etch, so they are separated from the transparent molds. Now, given we might have to adapt this cabin to the French version, it could be necessary to replace some of these pieces by acetate sheets. The box also includes a little metallic wire already pre-painted in black, so that might be really handy. We've got also a little photo etch sheet with the wipers, some metallic rings for the two tension wheels, a mesh grid for the exhaust pipe cover, and also 4 little belts. It seems that these are the seat belts, but they are really ridiculous. I think we can improve that with some elements cut from a brass sheet. As I said, this vehicle is not that big, so I'm afraid there is not a lot of decals to apply on that vehicle. You can find the different dials and instruction panels on the bottom side, and a few markings to identify the unit of this vehicle. And this gives me the opportunity to already tackle one of the aftermarket products that I decided to acquire for this build. This decal sheet is provided by Star Decals, and you can find here different versions of the French Polar Expedition vehicles. These are all M29 Weasels, and the different versions depend only on the period of these expeditions. I don't know what you think about it, but the first one, completely orange, looks quite appealing to me, but it has no cabin. That one could have been a very nice match, but unfortunately it's an Australian version. It's also possible to make one of these two versions with the white chassis and the orange or red-orange cabin. They also look very cool. What do you feel about it? Tell me your preference in the comment section below, and I will select the version that has the more votes. Okay, a few words now quickly on the instruction manual. The full manual is in black and white. The first 2 pages are a recap of the box content, so nothing really original here. Then starts the explanation on how to build this model. And as you can see, as I already told you, the running gear assembly promises to be sporty. Not only these wheels are small, but they are also numerous, and they must be all nicely parallel. So obviously there is quite some work ahead. Next page shows you how to assemble the tracks. So you have 12 elements per side. There is no track link, so you just have to glue all these pieces one against the other. Obviously there is no possibility to recreate any sagging effect. But if you look closely at the real vehicles, this sagging is almost non-existent. Here are the different instructions to build the driver compartment, then the crew compartment. As I said, it's a tiny vehicle, only 4 crew members. Here come the instructions for the side skirts, the onboard tools, and the exhaust pipe fitting. So far, this instruction manuals looks clear to me. Obviously, and as always, it will be necessary to study it a little bit deeper and to take the time to analyze all parts to be sure that there is no numbering mistakes. We will also see if it's possible to create different sets to facilitate the painting process. That is, for example, keeping the truck separated from the body, or to keep the different interior compartments separated. A nice example is the cabin cover that we will have to build and paint separately prior to be assembled on the chassis. Here comes the last page, surprise surprise. Thanks a lot Takom to give us a colored page. The last one with the window in blue. It will facilitate this build for sure. Okay, I'm kidding of course. Okay, let's close this review with this set from FC Model Trend. That's a 3D print for this complete running gear and trucks for this M29 Weasel produced by Takom. And it has been built in Spain. I was a little bit surprised when this box arrived and to see that this section is provided in only 2 pieces. And I must admit that it's completely my mistake. I should have checked this product more thoroughly prior to buy it. It's just because it's not really my style to buy, complex sub-assemblies molded in one piece. This 3D print set comes for a price a bit higher than 20 euros, which starts to be a bit pricey. And to my personal and honest opinion, I'm not sure it's worth buying. Now, I'm not saying that it's a poor quality item or it has been done the wrong way, but let me explain you my point of view. You can check here, for example, the difference with the plastic tracks, and you will see that, to my opinion, the Takom tracks in plastic are much better defined. The sculpted details are much more regular. You can see here how many supports were needed to create these 3D prints. Of course, all these supports will need to be cut with as much precision as you can. Sometimes it will be necessary to sand the excess remaining after the cut. So you can imagine all the work that will be necessary to get this piece out of the support and to clean it correctly. Especially because many of these supports are also located in very enclosed areas which are difficult to reach. So yes, in the end, you might not have to cut 64 wheels, sand them and glue them together, but honestly, I'm not sure you will spare time and efforts by buying this set, nor you will win in visual aspect for sure. Another very negative point for me is that given it has been molded in one single piece, there is no real separation between the wheels and their bogies, the different suspension arms. Everything looks like a complete block. The guiding teeth in the middle of the tracks are also not all completely hollow in their center part, especially on the top side of the track, where the different 3D supports are interfering with these guiding teeth. Another very negative point for me with this production is the wheel appearance. If you look correctly at the real wheel bogies, each bogie includes 8 wheels, that is 4 little wheels on each side. On this 3D print, the appearance is that each bogie has only 4 wheels in total. This is just because the middle separation between the wheels on the same side of the bogie is so thin that it's barely visible. Actually, this separation exists on this 3D print, but it's much too discreet. I immediately decided not to use this set, but I wanted to go deeper in this review and to show you what's on the other side of the support. So let's try to cut all these supports and to remove this track from its base. That's not a piece of cake, given there are many supports and many of them stick one against the other. And as I said, lots of them are located in areas that are very difficult to reach. If you want to do that job perfectly, I'm sure it will take you a lot of time. Okay, I've decided to speed up a little bit the process because I do not want to spend too much time on that. So, obviously now, I'm removing those supports the rough way. And as you can see, it ended up with some broken little track elements. We can assume that the bottom side of the track won't need to be sanded because they will lay on the ground, so they won't be visible. Here is the backside view of this 3D print. As you can see, the supports are flexible, but they are not so easy to remove. And as I said, they extend well inside the track system, which interfere with the different guiding teeth. Well, here is a view of the whole track assembly, completely wiped out of the different supports. I fully admit that it was a rough cleaning, so nothing done with precision and care. As I said, all the different guiding teeth are not completely hollow. It might be necessary to drill them properly if you want a nice perfect finish. The fitting on the main chassis looks nice, there is no precision problem on that part, but you will have to spend quite a lot of time to cut all these supports with precision, to clean them nicely at some difficult areas, and you will also have to drill some of these guiding teeth to recover the hollow part in the middle. I'll let you judge if this set is made for you or not. Personally, I won't use it. to my personal point of view, 3D printed parts should bring an additional value to a kit. Like these two wheels I've bought for my BMW R75 sidecar that were really wonderful and that provides the wheel with these super thin spokes and sculpted details. With this product, I don't feel like I'm gaining in visual quality nor even in ease of production. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for this review. I really hope you have enjoyed the content and that it was helpful for you. Do not hesitate to leave your comment below. What's your opinion about 3D printed parts? Is that really the future of scale modeling? I'll see you in my next video for the final part of this TBM Avenger crashed at sea diorama. Greetings from Portugal. Ciao ciao.